Shalom, 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 everyone. Blessed be Yehovah our King. Thanking the Most High God for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, food, clothing, and shelter. Thanking the Most High God for my life, the life of all of you that are out there today. We hope and pray that the Most High God continue to bless us all and keep us. Shabbat shalom to everyone out there. We're closing into our new year, which will be upon us in a couple of weeks. So we thank the Most High God for our new year and the liberation from Egypt, and us gaining our own our sovereignty out in the wilderness, becoming a nation, and then later, 40 years later, going into the land of Canaan. So we thank the Most High God for this night. I thank the Most High God for all things and everything, food, clothing, and shelter, everything that He's done for us, continues to do for us also. So I give praises unto this great King for my life and for everything, all things and everything. Hallelujah. Just trying to share this link now and wait for people to come on. A lot of times people don't know that I'm on, so I just kind of come on and try to let it be like an organic type of gathering with the people that are here. I want to try out this new thing. I'm going to try it out right now. Got so many people following us on Facebook, and I know that there's a way to stream live on Facebook. So I'm going to try to do that. See how it works out. While everybody is still trying to come on. Some app called Live Stream. It's an app called Live Stream. Well, it's not working right now. It says something went wrong, so I don't know what that could be. Oh well. Guess I have to leave it for another time, because it won't allow me to come on through live stream. So what I'm going to do here is start sharing the links. Sharing the links with everybody, all of our rooms, all the places that all the rooms that I'm part of. Oh, and for everyone that doesn't know, you know, since the time leap forward, you know, daylight saving time, New York City, we went an hour ahead, and the sun goes down later, so that's why I'm coming on a little bit later now, because of that. So just wanted to let everybody know that, who might not understand why we doing that, why we coming on later. maybe I should still come on at the same time that I was coming on before, but what will probably happen is that people will be getting ready for Shabbat still and probably won't have time to sit down and listen. And that's why you try to get everything started when the sun goes down. Do that and it makes it a little bit better. So let's see. Got all this stuff here. I'm waiting to go back to the YouTube screen to see how many people we have joined on so far. I know that everybody's used to the so now I want everybody to keep I want us to keep one of our sisters by the name of Zipporah Levy. Shabbat Shalom, Dina. Zipporah Levy in our prayers. She lost her mother, I believe, a couple of months ago. She's going through a tough time. Sister down in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So we hope and pray that the Most High God be with her and her family through her time of loss. It's important, you know, when you lose a parent, it's not something that's easy. So, you know, when you lose a parent is something that takes time for you to get over. And I was seeing that she was going through a little tough period. So I hope and pray that the Most High God be with our sister, protect her, guide her, give her strength, give her family strength, and keep her safe. Also, praying for my brother Chief David, that the Most High God be with him, protect him, guide him, keep him safe and strong. Praying also for my sister Dina, Yisrael, down in Georgia. Well, not in Georgia, in Atlanta. No, in Georgia. She's not in Atlanta, but she's in Georgia. That the Most High God be with you and be with your Ish and be with your son, Kaim, and protect them. I was looking at Dina. I was looking at De La Soul the other day, and I was looking at his cousin, and he looked just like his cousin. He's just a lighter version of his cousin. And he looked like it. Well, he looks like his Abba, and the cousin looks like the Abba, so like his Abba. So I was just sitting down there looking at it, just laughing. Also, thanking the Most High God for the life of our brother Yonah ben Yisrael, and also asking that the Most High God be with him. He just lost his wife not too long ago. So we hope and pray that the Most High God strengthen our brother Yonah and continue to give him strength in his time of loss. It's not an easy thing. I can't say I understand it, but I could imagine that it's not an easy thing to lose a loved one, especially a wife, someone that you was, you know, soulmates with and probably did everything together, that sort of stuff. So my heart goes out to you, my brother, that the Most High God will strengthen you and strengthen your family. Hallelujah. Getting some messages here for people to pray for. All right, so I pray also for Amaya and Kyle, Tamar's and David's daughters. They had a bad case of the flu. They're trying to recover right now, so we keep them in our prayers and we lift them up before the Most High God and hope that our daughters would recover and that they will be good. We got to pray for our little babies also. This flu season seemed like this flu season came late this year. It warmed up, but then the last couple of days here in New York City, like a few days, it got cold again. My mother always used to say that's get sick weather. Call it get sick weather. So I guess that's what's happening. A lot of people are getting sick. So just a little point of reference, that I could tell you personal experience. And kids, they're gonna get sick and adults get sick. But one of the main things in this type of, in the winter time and in the weather and the conditions, you have to boost up your immune system. A lot of vitamin C's. The children like the chewable ones. You could get the ones that are vegetarian based, don't have any animal, products in them. They sell them at any health food store. Chewables. Usually children eat that. Some type of vitamins. Or you could get natural vitamins from eating vegetables, and drink a lot of water. What happens a lot with children is that their immune system break down because of the sugar content that they have in their systems. Train your children from young to, Welch's grape juice is too sweet. If you're drinking Welch's grape juice straight down, the 100% juice, if you're drinking that straight down like that, that's kind of dangerous. A lot of the lemonades and stuff that they got out here is too sweet. So you got to get into the habit. And I know, and because growing up and still to now, I love sugar stuff, but I had to train myself to cut down on sugar with cutting juices, half and half. With water, if it's lemonade, add more water to it. Them store-bought juices are very dangerous. You got to be careful. Now, if you make your own lemonade, you could sweeten it to your own taste and do it how you want it. But you got to be careful with that stuff. Also praying for my young cousin DJ, who wasn't feeling well this week. Been going in and out to the hospital. So I pray and I hope that the Most High God be with him and protect them, be with his parents, Joanna and Dougie and Douglas, and protect them. So we hope and pray that everyone is doing well. If you need me to pray for someone or lift up their names, just let me know. And that way I will do it. So, what are we going to talk today? Well, today is Good Friday. I know many of you know that today is Good Friday, and in the Christian world, this is Holy Week. It commenced with last Sunday, Palm Sunday, and where they get Palm Sunday from is when Jesus came riding into Jerusalem on 2 donkeys. That's what they said. He was riding on 2 donkeys. I don't know how that's possible, but that's what the book said. He was riding on 2 donkeys, and the people were waving palm leaves and saying, Hosanna, Hosanna. And then there was Good Friday. He had the Last Supper with his prior to Good Friday, he had the Last Supper with his disciples, which is supposed to be the Passover meal. Then after that, got hung on the cross, got found guilty of heresy, trying to usurp the Roman Empire, and this is in the peoples, the Pharisees and the Levites and all the people at that time gave him over. And then 3 days later, he rose, and that's supposed to be Easter Sunday. But if we count, if he died on Good Friday, that he got hung on Good Friday, 3 days later would be Monday. But I guess they didn't expect us to figure that one out. So the sad thing about it is that our people are going to be going out to these places of worship and giving all their money to, I would say, 75% of those preachers and ministers are crooked. I wouldn't say all of them, because I do think that some people do have good intentions in their hearts, even if they are Christians or Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever it might be. Everybody is not wicked and evil. The problem is that for so many years, people like Creflo Dollar, if you go back as far as the early 1900s, you have people like Father Divine, Sweet Daddy Grace. I mean, these people were a lot of these people were pimping poor people, exploiting poor people. And what happens during these days, is big money for the church. Right at this time, starting from Palm Sunday, everybody start going back to church. And they have services on Good Friday. And then forget about it, Easter Sunday. I always say it, I say it every year, if you go past Pennsylvania Avenue, for those of you who live in Brooklyn, New York, down there by Starlight City, they got this big place, CCC. I don't know what the CCC stand for, but they have a big parking lot. They televise their services live. And when you go there on Easter Sunday, that parking lot be packed. I'm sure they make most of their revenue on that Easter Sunday. They must have about seven services throughout that day. And they cake. But the thing about collecting tithes, as they call it in church, and the thing about gathering tithes and stuff like that, is to help out the poor and the needy. Furthermore, tithes are not to be collected in the lands of our captivity. Tithes is to be collected in the place designated by the Most High God. Now, if you would go with me to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 12, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Deuteronomy chapter 12, just to let you know, let me see here. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 1. And it reads, "These are the statutes and judgments which you shall take care to do in the land which Jehovah, God of your fathers, gives you to possess all the days that you live upon the earth." So now these laws that are going to be given are laws that you should keep in the land. It specified that. It says, "These are the statutes and judgments which you shall take care to do in the land." What land is that? The land of Israel. formerly known as the land of Canaan. These are the laws that we're supposed to do in the land. Not outside of the land, but in the land. And it goes on and it says, you shall completely destroy all the places where the nations which you shall possess serve their gods upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. So when we went into the land, we were supposed to destroy all of the altars to Molech, all of the images that were made to Canaanite gods and all the different deities that they might have had there. We were supposed to destroy the Asherah tree. We were supposed to destroy the memory of any of those gods out of our midst, because it was commanded by the Creator. Verse 3. And you shall overthrow their altars and break down their pillars and burn their asherim with fire, and you shall cut down the carved images of their gods and destroy their names out of that place. So the Most High wants us, he wanted us when we went into the land to have a total annihilation of all of their gods and everything that they worship. God did not want us to be merciful to them because of the idolatry that they were involved in. And idolatry is very dangerous because you can influence people into idolatry. You can influence people into serving other gods. That's why the Most High God told us not to make marriages with them, because they will cause, and don't marry your children off to them, because they will lead your children astray. And it's very important and it's imperative. We have to build our communities. Our communities are shattered. We have a lot of problems within them, but we have to make an effort to marry off our children to each other, or try to get them to marry each other, because it's different. You know, you could say what you want to say, but in this society, it's hard to really get them to do that. So you got to almost push them into someone that you might feel is nice for them. And children sometimes don't like you doing that, but sometimes that's what's best for them. But unfortunately, in this society, they teach you to do opposite of that. So it's a very complicated thing, and it's a very tough thing to try to do in these the lands of our captivity. But nevertheless, let us get back to what I was reading. I'm trying to get to the point of the collecting of tithes and doing all these things. We already spoke about things being done in the land that the Most High God promised our fathers, and we can't do these things outside of the land. And let's see what are the things. Verse 6, and there you shall bring your burnt offerings. So we can't do burnt offerings outside of the land or outside of the place where the Most High God appointed for us to do so. Anybody who's sacrificing anything, it's in violation of the laws of the Most High God. You know, it cannot be tokenism. It cannot be something that you do because you're saying you're trying to keep the practice. There are people that are assigned to do certain things. They're priests, and they have a lineage. And when we go back home, the Most High God will allow us to discover who that lineage is. We can't do what we want to do here. You got men here that call themselves priests, but we don't really know if they're priests. You know, and it's a title. And it's a title that's respected, because if you take on the title of Kohen, then you have to live like a Kohen, and you should at least live like a Kohen and try to do things in a righteous manner, because the Kohanim in the land of Egypt were men and were people that were supposed to be upright and walk in a certain path and walk in a certain way. Unlike the priest that we have in the Catholic Church, that Shabbat Shalom Gever Kaskuya, those priests that are from the Catholic Church that molest children, like I told y'all, I referred y'all. You need to look at a movie by the name of Spotlight, where all these Catholic priests in Boston were discovered, and they showed, the Boston Globe, I believe, they showed how the archdiocese or the Catholic Church was hiding the fact that these priests were violating 99.9% of the times little boys. It was a feeding ground for homosexual priests that were molesting young little boys that had no father in the house for most part, and that were vulnerable and by themselves. So we're not supposed to be those type of priests. I'm not saying that in Israel everybody was perfect. We see the sons of Eli, and they were a mess. We're going to see in the next siddur that we do, that the sons of Aaron, they get killed for burning a strange fire before the Most High God, going into the holies of holies and doing what they wanted to do. So Shabbat Shalom, Deborah B. So our priesthood is a little bit more rigid. We have instructions, and the Most High never commands a priest that he cannot marry. There are restrictions to whom he can marry, but it's never commanded for a priest not to be married. These guys went above and beyond the call of duty, and in doing that, it violates all the natural laws that the Most High God created for a man to be with a woman, for her to conceive, and for her to bear children, and in the continuation of life. If the priests don't turn out to be homosexuals, what ends up happening is a lot of them end up being with nuns. A lot of times, you heard of a church where when they looked behind the walls, there was a whole bunch of fetuses or dead babies behind the walls, that they buried the babies behind the walls. These things were going on, and they, the priests were having sex with the nuns if they weren't violating little boys. So wouldn't it make sense just to, marry off the priests with the nuns, being that they are, in the same faith? Because God never tell man that he can't marry, or that he can't have a wife, or that he can't have someone that cares for him. Not even in the highest office in the land is it like that. So what's going on here? What they tell them is that they should be married to Jesus, and if they want to serve, that they shall hold they vows of celibacy till the end, which I think is moronic and it's idiotic. But who am I to judge? So here we go. So we establish that sacrifice your tithes. It says, hold on, verse 6, it says, and there you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices. Where is that there? In the land of in the land of Israel. It said, there you bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and offerings of your hand. So the tithe is considered an offering, and it tells us, and it reminds us that we cannot, that in the land is where we have to bring our tithes. We can't bring our tithes outside of the land. That's why in our congregation we don't collect tithes. We collect donations and obligation. Now, what's the tithes? A tithe is a tenth of everything that you make. That was instituted, that law probably was instituted because of our great father Abraham, when he seen Melchizedek, the king of Salem. He gave him a tenth for everything that he got. So from that point on, it seemed like that was a good thing, and it was left instituted for us to keep. So thus far, we see why the tithes have to be given in the land and in the land alone. So getting back to my main topic, it's like a lot of people are being robbed and being hoodwinked. The church And I'm not saying that all churches indulge in this. I think that, you know, there are some good-hearted people out there, and you see some places out there that do go out and help people and feed the poor and do all those things. That's commendable. Those are all godly things. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of them don't understand that the Most High God is a jealous God. So, but who am I to say anything? Because there's been many people that have left Christianity at an advanced age and have come to the truth. I know many of them. So if you look for it, you eventually will find it. So we have to just stay the course. So now when that Easter Sunday hits, everybody and their mother is going to come out to church. They're going to have their new suits on and the extra suit to go to Coney Island later that day. I know that that's what it was for me when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to realize is that the Creator is He's watching us. He's watching everything that we're doing. So we have to be careful with the things that we're doing. Our people is caught up, and it's unfortunate. When you're caught up, it's unfortunate, and sometimes it leads you down the wrong road. So we see that this was something to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind. What do black people have to do with Christianity, if you think about it? You know, is we got to really reverse our mentality. Now, we have a true and living God who's jealous and who's forever looking over us and is warning us because of the things that we're doing. So, you know, we just need to give the Most High God. We need to give the Most High God His due. We now that the sun goes down a little bit earlier, kind of tired because I'm starting an hour later. By this time I'll be almost wrapping it up. So I thank the Most High God. And now more and more people are coming on. That's what I see. Got 16 people up now. Shabbat Shalom to everybody in the room. So, how's everybody feeling out there? Does anybody want to call in and share a thought? Want to help me out tonight? 347-622-9090. Once again, 347-622-9090. That's for everyone out there that might want to call in. You might want to say a prayer on the air. That's all welcome. So once again, the number is 347-622-9090, 347-622-9090. That's for everyone that might want to call in and drop. Because I think I'm going to wrap it up early tonight. I know I still have that lesson with Isaiah 9. But what I'm probably going to end up doing it is, because it's going to take, you know, a little time, and depending on how I feel, you know, Friday nights, or today I'm feeling extremely fatigued. But I didn't want to abandon y'all for another week, so I came on, but it's going to be brief. So I'm probably going to leave it for an afternoon service. So that way I could, if I do it at the afternoon service, now that the days are getting longer, the afternoon service is a little bit longer, so I could really get into it. So once again, before I go, if you'd like to make a call, 347-622-9090. That's for everyone that would like to come on and say something, say a prayer. Request for prayer for someone online. Give me advice on something. Thank you, the Most High King. Since no one has anything to say, then I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for coming on tonight. Like I said, I'm extremely tired, so I'm going to go to my bed. I had a long, hard week. May the Most High God bless you all, and may the Most High God be with you all. Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Hallelujah.